What's up, KFG family? It's your boy Big Boy John 25 minutes. Tonight I'm gonna do my AEW Dynamite review and highlights you guys new. Hit that like button and let's get started. Now, AEW was a fantastic show for my opinion. So that's all I gotta say from here. It says AEW Wrestling. AEW returns this evening with their special Ohio debut edition of AEW Dynamite tonight from the Wrestling Center in Cleveland as momentum on the road to AEW Revolution picks up this week. Alright. John Moxley brawls with the Inner Circle and Street Thugs in his hometown. Everybody loves John Moxley, man. I cannot wait to see John Moxley versus Chris Jericho for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. I cannot wait for that pay-per-view. But anyway, this week's AEW Dynamite opens up with video highlights of the moments and matches that culminate with John Moxley coming out on top as the new #1 contender to AEW World Heavyweight Champion, entering a title shot against the leader of the Inner Circle that he turns down and offers to join Chris Jericho at AEW Revolution 2020 next month. From there, we are welcomed inside the Wrestling Center in Cleveland, Ohio, for the AEW Dynamite Ohio debut show by Jim Ross and accompanying on commentary as the familiar theme music of the new #1 contender hits the house speaker as Mox makes his trademark entrance through the crowd, still wearing a pirate-style eye patch over the eye that was injured by the attack from the Inner Circle a few weeks ago. Moxley begins his promo as the AEW fans in Cleveland chant his name. Moxley goes on to talk about knowing the vicious side of Chris Jericho in the Inner Circle was coming. He goes on to explain how well he knows Jericho, running down some of his key heel moments in his career, such as removing Rey Mysterio's mask and punching a woman, Shawn Michaels' wife, in the face. He goes on to calm he can see the scared little boy in Jericho. He says, "This isn't about the type of man Chris Jericho is about the type of man Lee Champion isn't." He openly admits waiting for AEW Revolution is going to make him have to keep an eye on the back of his head. He says he doesn't want to wait until AEW Revolution. He wants to get Jericho. He wants to get Jericho's whooping out of the way tonight. With that said, he tells Jericho for once in his life to come take your beating like a man. With that said, Jericho's theme music plays as AEW fans in Cleveland sing along, like the fans did on the Jericho cruise. He goes on to talk some trash back to Moxley, claiming he looks like a jack-up Captain Jack Sparrow. He then claims to have seen Moxley mothers backstage. Jericho admits he doesn't ever travel alone, and that Moxley is right. With that said, he called out the rest of his fellow members of the Inner Circle. Moxley then says he contemplate this cowardly move from Jericho, and being that he was born right here in this greatest state of the Ohio. He yells, "Oh!" as the fans fire back, "Io." Moxley goes on the state that it's not 5 against 1 because he's got the entire packed house at the Wrestling Center in Cleveland on his side, and he likes the odds. He says, "Let's fight," and drop the mic. Jericho then mentions that they brought with them some street thugs that Santana and Ortiz helped gather. Jericho points out that it's not 5-on-1, it's about 10-on-1 now. Now then, 10 men begun confidently struggle down the entrance ramp as the First Street Thugs approaches Moxley. Mox blasts him in the face, a headbutt, and starts swinging, wildly taking out the blasting as many of the remaining 9 men that he can before a mess of security comes in and restores order. Just when it seems the insanity would subside, it is actually Moxley who voluntarily lunges through security to swing on another street thug before taking out another with his pentagon shift DDT on the floor. Moxley retreats through the crowd at the same way he came amongst his fellow aisle fans, while Jericho stares on from the top turnbuckle inside the ring. From there, we shoot to our first live camera shoots of the announcer, who begins running down some of the matches in action on tape for tonight's show. MJF it says MJF vintage a unique vintage era featuring Maxwell Jacob Fredman as the build to the stipulation match between he and Cody Rhodes at the AEW Revolution 2020 in February continues with MJF featuring us game with that JR calls scenario his hitman, the Butcher and the Blade. The Butcher and the Blade versus the Young Bucks. From there, we shoot back live inside the Wolstein Center again, where the Butcher and the Blade, accompanied by MJF, head to the ring as we head to our first commercial break of the evening. We return live and we see MJF has joined the game on commentary for this match. With that said, the Young Bucks, Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson begin their walk to the ring for tonight's first match on the show. The bell sounds and here we go. Early on, the Butcher and the Blade use their strength advantage to jump to an early lead, while MJF shows off his live verbal ability, taking shots at Cody while on commentary. The Young Bucks start to show signs of life as the Bunny, who is also at ringside with the Butcher and the Blade involved for the first time. We head to another mid-card commercial break off a high spot. We return and the Butcher and the Blade are still dominating the action. Finally, Matt Jackson makes the hot tag and comes in the fresh man flying all over the place, hitting and taking out any and everything that moves. Fans cheer him on as Matt rejoins the action with a super kick on the floor and a flying elbows smash off the top rope in the ring. The Young Bucks are now in first comfortable offense lead of the match. A beautiful senton off the top gets a close 2 count for the Young Bucks that the Butcher ultimately breaks up. Moments later, the Young Bucks pick up the win. The winner of the match, the Young Bucks. After the match, MJF yells, "That's what I paid for," as the Hitman resumes their beatdown of the Young Bucks. After the match, eventually Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page runs out to make the save as MJF yells, "You're embarrassing me, you embarrassing me." Nyla Rose versus Big Swole. The women's division of AEW is god awful. It just got awful. But this match was just decent. It wasn't the best, it was just decent. Up next on AEW Dynamite, we return to the ring where the AEW women's division will be featured next as Nyla Rose goes one-on-one against Big Swole. The action doesn't take long to get physical inside the square circle as Swole avoids the early onslaught from Rose and blasts her with a couple of strikes for an early near fall. Now the fight spills out to the floor where Rose whips Swole into the barricade. Now she wraps her arm around the ring post for a good measure. The action picks up now as we draw close to what feels like the finishing sequence in this about Swole hits a flatliner. Rose lands a spear moments later, which she follows up with a powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. Rose picks up the W over the number 1 contender. The winner of the match, Nyla Rose. Cody with R. Anderson versus Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford. As we approach the bottom of hour 1 here at AEW Ohio, debuts of AEW Dynamite at the Wesleyan Center in Cleveland, Ohio. It is time for advertisement showdown between Cody Rhodes and Kip Sabian. The two make their way out to the ring. Sabian accompanied by Penelope Ford and Cody by Arn Anderson, the special enforcer, Arn Anderson. The bell sounds, and here we go. Early on, Sabian is using a wild variety of offense moves and holds to jump off the early lead. After eating a uppercut from Cody, Sabian rolls out to the floor. Gets in Arn Anderson's face and shoves him back in the ring. Sabian managed to avoid some offensive onslaught from the American Nightmare until he walks right into a picture-perfect dropkick. Cody goes to blast Sabian with a big haymaker and accidentally blasts Penelope Ford instead. As he goes to tend to her out of concert, Sabian takes advantage of the situation and blasts Cody with the kick to the grill. Sabian and Ford kiss to reveal that they set that spot up, and we head to a mid-match commercial break. We're back, and we see Ford is getting involved more and more. Ford throws her shoe in the ring as the potential weapon. Anderson climbs in to throw it into the crowd. Anderson ends up bumping the referee, who immediately ejects him from ringside. Ford now hits a crazy flying head scissors on Cody, which Sabian follows up with a top con Garo from out of nowhere. The bad boy Joey Janela jumps out of his seat in the crowd and sticks his space between Ford and Sabian as they go to kiss again. Sorry about that, guys. But anyway, Cody used the distraction to hit the top suicide. Sabian reverses a Cody slingshot attempt into the ring, a neck breaker for another near fall. Sabian then tries to superplex off the ropes, but Cody blocks it. Sabian ends up hitting a springboard bulldog instead. Sabian goes for the deathly hollows, but Cody blocks it and reverses it into the Cody Cutter. He follows that up with a crossroads and again, and a third and final time for good measure. Speaking of 1, 2, 3, Cody wins. The winner of the match, Cody. Dr. Britt Baker blasts Tony Schiavone, Jim Ross, and Baker Mayfield. We would turn from another commercial break to get reminded of Dr. Britt Baker insulting Tony Schiavone in awful fashion during a promo segment on last week's AEW Dynamite show from the Chris Jericho cruise, and then we shoot to another live interview with the two here inside of Wesleyan Center in Cleveland. Schiavone refers to her as Britt. She corrects him and said it was Dr. Baker Baker said she was the star of the show last week, and Tony held the microphone. She called Tony Mr. Starbucks and said, judging from the stretch of his gums, he has gum disease. She told him to pick up a toothbrush. Then she blasted JR from interrupting her segment last week, collecting a huge paycheck, not getting names right, and for only talking about her being a dentist during her matches. Then she blasted Rio from not being there for some cheap heat. She tells the Cleveland fans to attend that they finally have a Baker that they can believe in, which it pays on worse shots at the Baker Mayfield, the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns NFL team. The elite continues to fight with Lone Wolf Hangman Adam Page. After that promo segment, JR takes us to another promo segment, this time backstage with the newest addition to the AEW backstage interview team, Lexi. Lexi is standing by with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega as the Young Bucks celebrate their big win early in the evening, and Hangman Adam Page taunting Nick and Mac with their own custom-sized plate, since his custom-sized plate are actually in the belt. He correctly holds pointing out and belittling the Bucks for not having any goal to speak of, despite being considered the obvious favorite to dominate the tag team scene in AEW. Omega says the Bucks will be champions soon enough, and mentions that for now he has secured all of them a match on next week's AEW Dynamite show. The match will be Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, the Young Bucks taking on the Butcher, the Blade, in a tag team of their choosing in 8-man tag team action. SCU versus Jack Evans and Angelico. Now, so-called uncensored SCU makes their way down to the ring wearing Kobe Bryant's jersey to honor of the late great Black Mamba. The former AEW Tag Team Champions will be in action against Jack Evans and Angelico next here on AEW Dynamite. Early on, Kazarian and Scott grounded Angelico, working him over with suplexes and chin locks. Sky hits a double stomp to the back of Evans. Kazarian hits a release German on Evans. Evans and Angelico cuts off Scott. Evans hits a kick for a 2 count. Angelico hits a PK for a 2 count. The TH2 continues working over Sky as we head to commercial break. We return from commercial to see Sky and Evans trading strikes. Sky hits a suplex, then made the lukewarm tag to Kazarian. Kazarian hits a dropkick on Angelico and whips and hip toss Evans and a cutter on Angelico. He covers, but Evans broke it up. Evans hits a slingshot double stomp to Kazarian. Evans missed a space flying tiger drop. Kazarian and Sky hit the SCU later on Angelico, and Sky gets the 3 count to give SCU the victory. The winners of the match, SCU. The Dark Order address Christopher Daniels. I cannot get behind the Dark Order, but anyway, that's just my opinion. A video of the Dark Order appeared interrupting the post-match celebration by SCU. Uno of the Dark Order mentions that the Axel one is upset with Christopher Daniels for turning them down as a result. He has ordered the Dark Order to target his friends in SCU. Grayson mentions not caring who they go after first. The it says the Bastard Pod talks John Moxley and Kenny Omega. We see the Bastard Pac for a quick promo segment. He mentions possibly going after John Moxley. If Moxley ends up capturing the AEW World Heavyweight Champion from Chris Jericho at AEW Resolution before turning his attention to his biggest AEW rival, Kenny Omega, he claims that Omega is finally listening to him, and that from this point on, they are going to do things on Pac's timetable. He said next week he is coming after Kenny Omega. AEW Dynamite matches for next week's announced. after its first being mentioned in the promo segment featuring the Elite earlier in the show, we are updated to find out that the duo that will be joining the Butcher and the Blade to battle the four horsemen of AEW World Tag Team Champions Kenny Omega, Heyman, Adam Page, and the Young Bucks in the 8-man tag team action next week will be the Lucha Bros, Pentagon Jr., Ray Finch. Additionally, it is announced that John Moxley will go one-on-one against Ortiz from the Inner Circle, Pound and Powerful duo, while Dr. Britt Baker will meet Yoka Sakazaki in a singles showdown in the AEW Women's Division. Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz versus Darby Allin and Private Party. This match was okay. In the main event, and it is time here on AEW Dynamite now as the trio from the Inner Circle, consistently of AEW World Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz all make their way to the ring, accompanied by a fellow group members of Jack Hager and Sammy Guevara. Their opponents Darby Allin and the tag team of Private Party, Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy, are also in the square circle now, as it is almost time for our 6-man tag team main event. The bell sounded, and here we go. It will be the singles competitors of each team. Chris Jericho and Darby Allin kicking things off in this one. Jericho with the insulting side to the face of Allin promotes Allin to Rack League champion back with one of his own. Now Allin utilized his quickness and speed to avoid Jericho and blast him with a well-timed drop kick. Jericho runs to his corner after Allin starts building momentum. Things are starting to get out of control now as the end of this one has to be close to wrapping up. We see the Inner Circle blastingly triple teaming and dominate the action after isolating Private Party members in the ring for a good chunk of the match. Finally, Allin makes the hot tag and comes in like a man possessed. It's chaos now as there are too many bodies to count and non-stop action happening in rapid fire fashion now until we get to the finish, which sees Jericho blast Cassidy right in the grill with his Judas effect for the win. The winners of the match: Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz. After the match, John Moxley in baseball bat takes out the Inner Circle. Eventually, the bully Tragic gets under the skin of Moxley after the match, as victory wasn't enough for the bullies in the Inner Circle, as they continued their beatdown of Darby Allin and Quinn/Cassidy after the match ends. The number one contender to AEW World champion sprints to the ring with a baseball bat, swinging at any and everything that moves, and cleaning house in the process. That will do it for this week's AEW Dynamite. Join us here next week, same time, same place. Now, AEW was not a bad show. It was not a bad show. That's just my own thoughts, my opinion. But let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think of AEW Dynamite. And share this video. My Twitter, my Instagram, and my TikTok will be linked down below in the description. I just want to say shout out to everybody. I'm here to look out for everybody, not just one person. And I'm saying I'm so close to 3K, man. I'm so close. But I will keep grinding, and I will not give up. But anyway, I'm about to get up out of here. But anyway, if you guys enjoy my AEW Dynamite review and highlights, drop a like on this video, share the video, and I will talk to you guys later. Big Boy John 25, and I'm out of here.